Got to share. I'd like to welcome everybody to our February 1st City Council meeting. Go Eagles. Wait for our linebacker to get up here. All right, if everybody could please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if everyone could remain standing while our Deputy Mayor, Karen Bugh, leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the courageous men and women who have chosen such difficult and dangerous jobs, police, fire, EMTs, and others. Thank you for their sacrifices and service. Thank you for their hard work in training and preparing. Help them to feel the respect and gratitude of their communities. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Could we have look for a moment of silence for Marianne Barone, mother of David Barone, mother-in-law to Laura Barone, who many of us know, former Marianne and Dave Sr., former proprietors of Jack's Pharmacy all throughout the 90s. Really solid brigantines, both of them. Marianne passed away, and services for her were earlier today. So just a moment of silence, please. Rest in peace, Marianne. Thank you.
Lynn, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask if Chief Fuller can come up and say a couple words about our guest of honor and potentially introduce some of the retired firefighters that are here.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. Want to make note of a couple retired firefighters that came out for tonight. Captain Reynolds, Captain Bugh. I see Mike Lang there. Freshly retired Lieutenant Fisher. Fresh off of surgery. Fresh off knee surgery. So tonight, I want to thank again everyone for coming out. This is an exciting time when we have a promotion in the department. Exciting not only for the individual being promoted and his family, but also for the energy and ideas that this person is going to bring into the department. So really very exciting. So I'm going to give a little bio on Lieutenant Riley here. Robert Riley Jr. was born and raised in Brigantine, New Jersey by his parents, Cookie and Robert Riley Sr. Bob was a 1991 graduate of Holy Spirit High School and has proudly served the city of Brigantine as a firefighter for just over 20 years. Bob Riley comes from a long line of relatives who have devoted their lives to public service. Bob's great-grandfather, Bill Riley, was an Atlantic City fireman who served for 22 years from 1925 to 1946, followed by his grandfather, Jesse Riley, who served as a Brigantine policeman from 1949 to 1959. More recently, his father, Lieutenant Bob Riley Sr., was a 21-year member of the Brigantine Fire Department, retiring in 2004. Lieutenant Riley holds New Jersey Division Fire Safety certifications as Fire Officer 1, as well as Drill Ground Instructor, Fire Instructor 1. Lieutenant Riley also maintains an Incident Management Level 2 and Hazmat Operation level. Bob is involved in the community with many activities such as heading the Brigantine Hockey League and organizing the yearly Brigantine Fire Department charity golf tournament to benefit the Byrne Foundation. Tonight, Lieutenant Riley is accompanied by his parents, Cookie and Bob, as well as his wife of 21 years, Chrissy, and their two sons, RJ and Jesse Riley. Right now, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Riley up for swearing in, along with his family.
Before we get started, I'd just like to say a couple of words and I'll be brief. I know we're very, very proud of the service that Lieutenant Riley has provided to the city. I know being the senior guy on the truck, one of the things that he's responsible for is making sure that all the guys he's riding with and all the equipment's ready. And he's done an outstanding job of that throughout his entire career here. You've heard from Chief Fuller, all of the community events and programs and things that Lieutenant Riley's been a part of. But I think a big part of that is also with the Byrne Foundation. I don't know if people realize that Bob has helped with the Byrne Foundation to help raise over $100,000 for the Byrne Foundation. It's very, very impressive, and that's what we like to see, that outstanding service, not just here with the fire department, but what you do out in the community that makes a huge difference. So we're very, very proud of you, and your family should be proud of you tonight. All right, so place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Take this with me. Repeat after me. I, Robert Riley Jr.,
I, Robert Riley Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the state of New Jersey,
of the state of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
required of the position
required of the position
of Lieutenant of the Brigantine Fire Department,
of Lieutenant Brigantine Fire Department,
or according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, a tradition we have in the fire service is his father, who was also a fireman, is going to present Lieutenant Riley with his badge.
Just stick them anywhere.
Just jab it in there. You're right. Put some fly paper on it, gets the kids going. Can't deny it. Yeah. Right. Hi, Bobby.
And I'll email that one picture to Emmett
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
for the time, so.
All right, so we're going to have a need for an executive session tonight. Jim, what are the topics to be discussed?
Topics this evening will be matters of personnel and contract negotiations.
All right, Lynn, can you read the resolution?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss matters of personnel and contract negotiations, minutes would be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
All right, can we have a motion second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, seeing none, resolution passed. We'll be back in a little bit.
expanding from around the world. Oh, we found a Milky Way.
They are good, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Been here a long time. We haven't gotten past number 5.
Thank you.
So the school was designated to. Sorry, we'll get started 1 second. One last update.
Milky Way was good.
Big thing is subject to art, get the older jetties in there and build that back up. If not, we're gonna keep dumping money into it.
Yeah, they agree.
They were down this end of them. They were down this end of them. They were down this end.
I'd like to make a motion, or is there a motion and second to resume from executive session? I guess
I'll make
it's
that
from
motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, seeing none. Fred, can you summarize?
Yes, in executive session, the mayor and city council discussed certain employment matters dealing with contracts. No action was taken. It's anticipated that additional discussion on certain matters of this type will take place in the near future, and additional information will be made at that point, be made available at that time. It's anticipated that that will be approximately in the next 30 to 60 days. Council also discussed agenda item 16, which is resolution 2023-33. It is the understanding that based on this discussion, that matter will be tabled for this evening. If that is council's intention, a motion to that effect would be in order at this time.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so the motion on the floor is to table agenda item 2023-33. We had a motion and second. Lynn, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri? Yes. Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, this time we need the approval of our January 18th council meeting minutes. We have a motion second.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need our approval of payroll requisition list and operating expenses. We have a motion second.
So,
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri? Yes. Haney?
yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
At this time, we're going to open the meeting up to public comment. This is public comment on agenda items only. Seeing no public comment at this time, we're going to close the public comment. Next up, we have ordinance number 2 of 2023. This is a public hearing and adoption, and this is an ordinance amending Chapter 61, Salaries and Compensation of the Code of the City of Brigantine pursuant to NJSA 40A:9-165, establishing the salaries and wages of certain officers and employees of the City of Brigantine, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey. We have a motion and second. All right, this time we'll open it up for a public hearing. Anybody wishing to be heard on this matter? Seeing no public participation, we'll close the public portion. Any council comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri? Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre? Yes. Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2023-28, and this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Brigantine appointing Matthew Doran, P.E. as municipal engineer for 2023. This is in a not-to-exceed amount of $85,000. We have a motion and second.
So
I'll make-
moved.
I'll second.
Questions or
Who
comments?
moved? I couldn't.
I think Mike,
Lynn has a question.
Mike made the motion, Neil
I
made the
second.
second.
Thank you.
Sorry about that one.
That's
okay.
okay.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, Mayor, there's just like a couple typos down, I guess, right near the bottom, be it further resolved. Looks like line 3, to be provided or to be performed, should read by a person who is, it says be a person. Same with right at the very bottom, last line. Acquired, it says acquired via prolonged formal course, should be acquired by a prolonged formal course of specialized instruction and study.
That's a grammar. My 7th grade English teacher.
I don't know. Either way, it looks good to me. I mean, Fred, if we need to make that adjustment, but I mean, I think it reads, I think you're talking about the very last line under the first, be it further resolved, where it says performance of which requires knowledge of an advanced type in a field of learning acquired, be a prolonged form. I think it should be acquired by.
Yeah.
And also the third line, same deal. If you just start the line out, third line, because the services to be provided are to be performed, be a person who is.
By.
Same deal.
All right.
just by.
Should be by, yes.
All right, so do we make a motion to, it's a typo. Make
Yeah,
a
that's all.
motion to amend it?
They are typos, but you can make the motion to correct those typos and
Okay.
then still go forward with.
All right, so can we make a motion to correct the 2 typos that are in there? Second, all right,
I'll
all in
second that.
favor?
Aye. Let
Any
Dennis make it.
opposed?
Aye.
All right, so Mike has opposed, the ayes have it. All right, then, so now we have the motion on the floor as amended. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri? Yes. Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thought you'd abstain.
Resolution 2023-29, and this is a resolution authoring the professional service contract, professional service of Stockton University Coastal Research Center, and this is to monitor our beaches and, more importantly, the beach erosion. This is in the amount of $32,853.46. Can we have a motion second?
Second.
This is something that we have been doing for a number of years. When Brigantine comes up for its beach replenishment, this is the data that's actually used to justify the beach replenishment. Our beach, we're a managed beach, which means we're federally managed. It's monitored. Once we get below a certain level, the federal government comes in, partners with the state, us, and them to do our beach replenishments. We're up in the cycle and we're working on our next beach replenishment right now. So this is part of that process. Are there any further comments?
Steve Farrell has run this for many, many years and has just recently announced his retirement. Trained his coworkers quite well.
Absolutely. If there's no further comment, can we have roll call?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri? Yes. Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Well, the fact that Stockton has done such an excellent job in the past on this situation here, I definitely vote yes for this. Thanks.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, Resolution 2023-30, and this is a resolution by the City of Brigantine authorizing the award of contract to Lexa Concrete LLC for Brigantine Boulevard, CR 638, TAP Lighthouse District Streetscape Improvement. I think it's supposed to be program. Might be another typo there.
Got more typos?
Might have to amend it. This is in the amount of $989,000, $89,003.09. Nope, that's correct. All right, can we have a motion second?
So moved.
All right, questions or comments? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View. Yes. Lettieri? Yes. Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2023-31, and this is a final work change order number 1 for the tennis court resurfacing and various tennis court improvements. This is to Think Pavers Hardscaping LLC, and this is a net decrease of $3,082.80. We have a motion second.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
It looks like the second paragraph is a run-on sentence.
Yeah. You're gonna get blindsided. Man. Got my jersey on.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think when the quantities came in, they just, and this is normal with any contract, when the quantities are done at the end, they make adjustments, and obviously, it was in our favor. Yeah. If there's no further comment, can we have roll call?
View. Yes. Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2023-32, and this is a resolution of participation, and this is a resolution approving participation within the state of New Jersey in a safe and secure communities program administered by the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General. This is a grant in the amount of $16,200 with a local match of $58,604. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Chief, you want to say a couple words about this?
Yeah, this is a grant we receive every year. You guys have seen it before. They give us, you saw the numbers that we can supplement into the salaries and wages. In order to get the grant, you have to stay at a certain staffing level. So we met that level. And like I said, we receive it every year. It's going down, unfortunately, as with all the grants, but that's what this is, and it's going to get, inserted into the salaries.
Every little bit helps.
Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about our city. We aggressively go after grants to help keep the costs down for our taxpayers. All right, if there's no further comments, can we have roll call?
View. Yes. Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2023-34, and this is approval to submit a grant application to execute a grant agreement with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for a fiscal year 2022 FEMA Assistance to Firefighter Grant. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Chief, say a couple words. Chief Fuller.
Just like Chief Casamano said, an application for a new piece of equipment that we been striving to try and get, but because of costs and other things, prevented us from going after this equipment. So the grant application will let us get this. And be able to use it towards, services for the citizens.
Okay. Is this for equipment though?
Yes, that's the, without going into crazy detail, this is already a piece of equipment that's carried by ALS. Um, We have been trained on it, but we have never had our own. This will help, this will help give quality chest compressions to someone in cardiac arrest. Giving CPR is time, not time consuming, but can be a strain on the caregiver. We do a pit crew style CPR, and we remain on scene for 20 minutes or more doing continuous chest compressions, which can wear out on the providers. This device can be used to help during transport, especially to mainland. So long transports, the patient will receive more quality CPR compressions.
Yeah. So I guess so I understand too, because I know the response time here in Brigantine is usually under 4 minutes. Then obviously you get there, you assess, but it also wouldn't be just used here, but in transport. Because if somebody was in cardiac arrest, they would need that higher level of, I guess, equipment to.
Very correct.
Okay.
Because we live in somewhat of a unique environment, being able to give quality chest compressions to someone who may have had a cardiac incident on a boat or on a dock out on the beach, it's hard to deliver that kind of CPR while you're moving that patient from the scene to the ambulance. Our transport times in Atlantic City is probably 8 minutes. But when we have transportation times up to mainland, that can take 20 minutes.
Right.
So you can imagine you're easily spending an hour of continuous CPR. So this device will give the patient the best possible chance of a successful outcome.
Is there any other questions from council? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View. Yes. Lettieri? Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next up, we have our council manager committee discussions. Jim, anything for us?
I have nothing additional, Mayor. Thank you.
Consent, I know, that's what threw me off a minute. Yeah. That's our department heads. Anything for us? No. All right, then we'll turn it over to our deputy mayor, Karen Beal.
Jim Mogan is very excited. They already have 20 kids signed up and Brigantine. Still room for plenty more. They're thrilled that they've got the word out early this year in full swing. Also tomorrow I'm hosting a session with Brigantine senior citizens at the community center, and it is going to feature speakers Atlantic County government. We have our county clerk, Joe Girallo, our surrogate, Jim Tercio, and our two assembly members, Claire Swift and Don Guardian, are coming to discuss services that Atlantic County provides for seniors. They're going to talk about property fraud and voting by mail, passport and notary services, living wills. Big one is the anchor program, which is the tax relief program, and any other topics that will come. So far, we have 75 seniors signed up to attend. We are at our max because it is being done in conjunction with our Meals on Wheels program. It is Hot Dog Day, which is the biggest draw of the month, and we picked that day to do it. So I'm really looking forward to this great presentation. That's it.
Perfect, thank you. Turn it over to Councilman Paul Lettieri.
I just want to thank everybody for attending this evening. I also want to thank the group of concerned citizens that showed up last week for the interview with Channel 17. Though it didn't quite go the way we would hoped it would go. I said it was a pony show anyway. The girl by herself operating her own camera, microphone. So, but anyway, thank you for your support.
Go to Councilman Dennis Haney.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, just want to wish congratulations again to Captain Bob Riles. He's got an excellent reputation. Great to see him make a lieutenant and promote, and congratulations on that. I'll just also say, just a little aside to that, Bobby's he's an excellent defenseman too in our street hockey league. He's just a good man, always there when you need him. He's the same way in the fire department. I know that. And so congrats again. Also, all his community work was mentioned, which is excellent. And, you know, I know he put plenty of time in BHL being on the board there when I was back. And never a problem getting a referee, right, Mike? Always,
Yeah.
always
There.
not so easy getting referees out at those games, especially the tournaments and stuff. So Bobby was always there for that. So congrats. Just touching on the windmill situation and the whales, I've noticed a couple things on some of the major news networks lately. There was not to mention the specific shows, but last night there was something. I think last week I saw something on the same network, and I'm sure there's plenty of other stories out there. So when it reaches the national, when it's on the national agenda, if you will, you know, there's a lot of ears out there that are attuned to this whole thing, and hopefully we can get something done about this whole thing. I think right now we're at about maybe 10 whales, I believe, that we know of that have died, washed ashore. And it's just absolutely horrible. You have female whales that have their calves that are just they mimic so much of human behavior, the air breathing mammals that they are, and this is just a utter and total sin and a disgrace. The kibosh needs to be put on this thing. It needs to be looked over. Long Island just had one wash up. And there was another one actually that we didn't hear a whole lot about down in Assateague in Maryland. So just hopefully see that move right along where we need it to go. The one last thing, Mayor, I just noticed the top of our agenda ordinance on the salary ordinance. I just noticed that all the zeros, or should it be zeros? They're all O's. So we need to change those. Can we change those all back? Thank you. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
I will turn it over to Councilman Rick DeLucre.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to start by thanking Councilman Haney for his vigorous work defending the integrity of our written agendas. That's really the key to good government, I think. Beyond that, I'm going to yield my time to allow everyone more time to work on their Super Bowl proposition bets, watch game film, whatever it is you need to do to get ready for the game. And let's hear from Mike.
Sounds good. Turn it over to Councilman Neil Kane.
I don't have a whole lot. I do want to congratulate Lieutenant Riley, brigantine guy all along, and his family, and deep brigantine roots and a great family. So that's a good time to see somebody finally promoted. Looks like there's a lot of work still continuing around the island with the gas lines, with the electric company, and with new poles and lines going in. So it's nice to see that work's continuing and moving forward. Last week, or about a week and a half ago, Karen Beal and I had the opportunity to meet with Tom Rapici down at the baseball field and look at the clubhouse. And it's something we'd like to talk about in the future that needs a little bit of work. I think the roof is shot. The whole second floor needs a little bit of work too. So they're trying to do some amazing things. They're trying to bring in a huge tournament this summer, which would bring a lot to the island. A bunch of teams have a big tournament, you know, with families not only playing in the baseball tournament, but can go to the beach and then go to the restaurants. And I think they're going to try and work something out with the Chamber of Commerce too. So that's a huge deal. But we do need to look into getting some work done on that place down there. So other than that, that's all I've got. Thank you.
I know that there's grant money that's available right now for infrastructure from the federal government. It's coming down through the states, but it's for like recreation stuff.
Okay.
But that's something we can try to look into to see if we will qualify for that.
Great.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you look at I know a lot of the stuff that Tom Rapici's done down there. He's the baseball and softball commissioner. But does he do both, or is he just baseball?
Both.
I think
Does
he's
he
doing
do-
both.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I know as the commissioner down there, they started the Sandlot program, which was pick up baseball games for any kids on the island. And they had consistently 100 kids every time they played. So it's good to see that facility getting a lot of work. I know that Tom has spoken with me also about the condition of the roundhouse.
Yeah, that's what.
It's probably something that needs to be repaired. It's something
Definitely
we
the
got to
roof,
look
yeah.
into. And that's something, we should definitely bring back before council and get a better look at. So I'm very glad that you guys had some time to go down there and meet with Tom and kind of get a firsthand look at what he's talking about. I'll turn it over to Councilman Mike Reardon.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, spending your Wednesday night here in City Hall. Appreciate it. And always your support on the different issues. We always appreciate what you have to say, and we're always open for it. Other than that, the Cultural Arts Commission, they're meeting, planning things for coming up for the coming spring season and all. After that, the Economic Development Committee, it's very exciting time with what's going on here on the island, just the upgrades and the renovations that are going on to Laguna Grill, to the Old Joe Seaside. We have upgrades coming up around the lighthouse there and streetscape and that whole district, and the business owners down there in the Lighthouse District. They're just a great bunch of progressive owners down there and doing a lot to bring people out there to that area. And so I commend them on that. Other than that, let's see, we have, I've gotten a few complaints from several people now that have tried to get beach passes, permits for the north end. And this year, for some reason, I don't know if anybody else has gotten calls about this, the state limited it to 500. So literally, and I know myself, I tried to apply for one. It opened up December 1st, I believe. I don't know if somebody here knows that, and by New Year's, they were sold out, 500. So it's unfortunate. I don't know if we can talk to someone to see if, there's people that live on the island, that senior citizens that it's like therapeutic to drive up there with a fishing pole and spend some time up on the north end when it's open. So I'd like to try to follow up and see if there's any way.
Yeah, if Jim can reach out and see what they say. I
Sure.
know they're very strict on their numbers, and it's not just Brigantine, it's all the state parks that they manage. But yeah, we can see if there's any consideration that can be made.
I'll give Bass River a call tomorrow. That's where the
Yeah.
local office is.
Yeah.
They have been limiting them for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But for the last 2 years, they have sold out sometimes within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll make a call and I'll get
Yeah,
back to you.
I'll touch base with you.
Thank you.
Other than that, if anybody has any questions or issues, anything you want to talk about at all, you know where to find me. The front page of the Brigantine Times, my number's right there, right on the bottom of it. Give me a call. I'm open for everything. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, we need to appoint our Board of School estimates again for this year. And I'd like to have myself, Councilman Paul Lettieri, and Neil Kane. I spelled your name wrong, Neil. I'm sorry, but I'll fix it here. I just noticed. Sorry. At least I didn't call you Cornelius.
That's okay.
All right, so I'd like to, is there a motion, a second, to put myself, Paul Lettieri, and Neil Kane on the Board of School estimates?
So moved. Second.
All right, so Lynn, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Board of School estimates will meeting sometime end of March. There's specific dates that the state sets that we have to meet in that time frame. So we're working out those meetings now. So we want to make sure that we let people know it'll be sometime towards the end of March. With that, I got great news from the school today. The New Jersey Department of Education has named the Brigantine School District as a high-performing district. This was under their CUSAC review, which is a state review. This is the first time that our Brigantine Community School has achieved this in over 20 years. So it's really a testament, one, to all the teachers and staff down there, but also to our superintendent, Glenn Robbins. So we're glad to see that progress down there. Wanted to remind people, the city, we had talked about this before under the state audit. One of the steps that the city wanted to take is to hire a HR consultant. We had put out an RFP for an HR consultant. This was back in January. The return dates of those are somewhere around February 16th, middle of the month. So we should have more information on that soon. We talked at the last meeting about City Hall and Library, the HVAC system. An RFP was put out on January 27th, and this will be due back somewhere around the end of February. And the RFP is one, to do an assessment on our current system and also to make recommendations and develop a plan for a new system. Whatever information comes back on this RFP will come back before council to make a decision on how we move forward. But as I told people at the last meeting, we had our CFO just run a cost analysis of the money that we had spent. And this is as of the last meeting, not current, because I know there was money that was spent in the last 2 weeks. But the city spent over $260,000 repairing the old system. You can't keep throwing good money after bad money. And I think we need to look at what we need to do to replace the HVA system. This is in City Hall, in the library, and also in the police station. I think the police station system in there, it's not even HVAC, it's like a heating and chilling system. And there's a very good chance that it's original. So I think we've gotten our money out of that one. But like I said, I'm glad council made the recommendation, move forward it, wanted to give people an update. So hopefully by the end of February, we should have some more information. We have a community meeting coming up on Ocean Wind. This is going to be 11 a.m. on Saturday, February 11th, and this is going to be at the Brigantine Community School. This will be our third community meeting that the city has hosted on this topic. I want people to understand that our goal throughout this entire process has been to offer a series of community forums where we can share information and help educate the public about the state's plan to develop wind farms on the South Jersey coast. For people who aren't familiar, the state is planning to basically develop windmills, ocean windmills about the size of the Empire States Building from LBI all the way down to about Cape May Point. There's been a lot of questions and concerns recently that have come up with this, especially with the numerous whale deaths that have been happening. Our speakers for the event, we have Congressman Jeff Van Drew, State Senator Vince Palestina. We will have representatives from Defend Brigantine and Save LBI. We are waiting on confirmation from Atlantic Shores. In December, Atlantic Shores had agreed that they would come back. We reached out to them. We told them this is the date. This is when we're holding the meeting. They let me know that they would get back to me to confirm whether or not their team will be able to participate. So we're waiting on that. We'll let people know. One of the things we are working on is video recording the meeting. We're going to video record the meeting and post it up on the city's YouTube page. I know some people wanted us to live stream it. One of the issues we have at the school is that the Wi-Fi and cell service in that room is not reliable. So we don't want to put something up that then people then can't watch. We're going to video record it. This way we have a record of it and we can put it up on the city's YouTube page. And this way people can watch and they can see the meeting if they're not able to attend. For the Ocean Wind, I know a lot of people have seen in the news, we've had 12 mayors, including myself, sign a letter to Governor Murphy calling for a moratorium on all offshore wind activities until it can be confidently determined that there is no connection between these wind activities and the numerous whale deaths. We just had a phone call from some of the mayors in LBI. They now want to join in on that letter. So we connected them with who they need to connect with. But, we're getting a lot of good support here. We have a few towns here in Atlantic County that are looking to pass a resolution very similar to what we have. Margate and Ventnor have agreed to it. Ocean City has agreed. Galloway and Absecon right now, I've spoken with both of their representatives. They're considering it right now. They just want to make sure that they have some consensus from their council members. They want to take time to discuss it. My understanding is that some of the Wildwoods, it might have been Wildwood Crest and North Wildwood, have also agreed to pass this. And I think a lot of people are starting to ask questions about what's going on. Our county executive, I think he summed it really well. He said, the people of our communities deserve answers. Let's get those answers before anything can move forward. And we agree with that 100%. And I think it's important to note too that, like the city of Brigantine supports and understands the need for clean energy solutions, but we have a lot of concerns about the impacts that these ocean wind projects may already be having on the whales and other marine life. It's very important for us to get real scientifically supported facts and proof that these projects will not hurt our marine mammals or disrupt the ocean environment before anything can move forward. It would be simply irresponsible of anyone, any governing body, agency, or business to try to fast track these projects without getting all the facts first. So there's been a lot of national attention on this. I know there's several members of Congress who have joined in with Congressman Jess Van Drew and calling for answers, calling for proper tests, so hopefully that we can start to get some answers. I know the Congressman and Senator Palestina will both be giving updates on what they've been able to achieve, both on the federal and state level, as well as Save LBI and our Defend Brigantine group, which I know is here tonight. So we'll have that coming up as soon as we get confirmation back from Atlantic Shores. We'll let people know that as well. But I also want people to know that this isn't just a New Jersey issue. This is an entire East Coast issue. Working right now, we have a good coalition of shore mayors from New Jersey, but I'm also working with a number of mayors and elected officials from New York State all the way down to Maryland. So when we talk about building this coastal coalition, it's not just a handful of towns. It is a number of states who are all dealing with the same issues, who have the same questions. I know that North Carolina, they've had some issues with some whales that have washed in there. Some of the news reports I've read is one of the mayors down there really called out the environmental groups who did the necropsies because they didn't do the proper tests that were needed to show if there was actually any impact from the testing that they're doing out in the ocean. And I know that he was very, very frustrated, very mad, calling people out. I believe that's also why Bob Stern of Save LBI has done a Freedom of Information Act to request all of the necropsies that were done. One of the things we've learned is that the necropsies are actually in 3 levels. It's like level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is the only level that's ever released to the public. Level 2s and 3s are hidden. I don't know the reason why. I've spoke with Congressman Van Drew. He's going to see what he can do through his office to make sure that the entire reports are made public. The federal government needs to have full disclosure on everything that's out there. And I know that Congressman Harris, who is the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, is actually called out specifically on these groups that they need to start doing the test specifically of the inner ear and whatever would be connected to potentially showing if there was a real connection. So hopefully with the support that we have of our members of Congress and as well as our state representative, Senator Vince Palestina, with the numerous mayors that have now joined in, we can start to get the answers that we need. So we'll keep you guys posted as we move forward on this. I think that's all I have for tonight. At this time, we're going to open it up for public comment. Anybody wishing to be heard, please state your name and address for the record. Yes, Tom.
Tom Jones, 208 Fifth North. You answered so many of my questions already. Thank you, all of you. And I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of praise on Facebook just this morning for specifically Mayor Sarah and the board for the resolution that we formed or voted on and the Coastal Coalition that you have formed. Please continue. I like hearing tonight that it's the whole East Coast. That's phenomenal. I also liked hearing that you are aware that they're not checking that inner ear. I read a post this morning. Taiwan has an excess of whale deaths, and they have massive farms already built and already in operation. They corralled a baby special kind of whale, I forget kind, and they did it on purpose so that they could test whether the whale was deaf or not.
Yeah.
And they put it in a big pool, I guess, and did sounding or something, and it did not respond. So they are confident that that whale was deaf. The other whales in the pods were dead. So we got to start connecting the dots. I'd like to see the dots get connected. You answered my questions about the meeting. Would like to know if we have a start date for the replenishment yet.
We don't. It still has to go out to bid. So the federal government still has to bid it. We're also in the process right now of working with Congressman Van Drew. The bids for previous projects have come in much higher than anticipated. So we're actually reaching back out to the federal government for more money to make sure that we get an adequate replenishment. So I actually he asked me to follow back up with him in February. So I'm going to reach back out to him tomorrow.
All right. So May, June is
Yeah, what was the
Not a
original time? Was it like
possibility, is up in
May,
the
June?
air still?
I think it was like a May, June start. They were going to put the bids out in March. They anticipated a May, June start. So yeah, we just need to follow up and confirm that everything's moving forward and also to ask for the money again.
Okay, thank you. Any idea how long that project will take?
I don't, do you remember how long they take?
Probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say probably on the 6-week side. I've never seen a
Month and a half.
government project move quick. But yeah,
It'll run until July.
Yeah.
They were shooting for August, right? To have the beach open by August?
Yes.
yeah.
And is it only going to be Roosevelt and North?
No.
Done.
The current plan, and again, this will all hinge on if we get additional funding, is it's going to start just north of the seawall, and they're going to work their way as far as 4th Street South, depending on the level of funding and the level of erosion that they're able to fill back in. So they're going to start from north and head south.
4 south is the cutoff, though.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Typically, too, just so you know, I've spent some time with the Army Corps, so I can understand how they do their replenishments. Our currents run from north to south. They like to stack the sand up. They build what's called a feeder beach right just north of the seawall. And what they like to do is have that sand be carried down by the natural currents because it'll hold in place better. And then once you get to about Roosevelt, maybe just short of the hotel, the island turns and we don't have as much erosion, which is why you see the bigger beaches on the south and the smaller beaches on the north. So that's part of their thought philosophy of stacking it there and having it pull itself down naturally.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
The meeting on the 11th,
Yes.
is the city council, council going to be there?
Yeah, the city of Brigantine, us as a governing body are hosting the meeting. We'll have representatives from city council there as well as our
But you-
committee.
You had already had a committee council. So-
We have a committee on council that's focused on it. 2 of the council members that are on there, myself, Mike Reardon and Dennis Haney. I believe everyone will be at the meeting, but I'll probably be speaking on behalf of the committee.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, how are you?
I'm Lori Goldsmith, 1415 East Brigantine Avenue. So I'm all the way up as far as you can get on the seawall. Can I show you a picture?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I got it.
So right now, it's stormy. We don't have that water's coming through in the front yard. And it's already been approval, seawall extended, not the promenade where you have to walk, which is.
No, the Army Corps actually turned that down. We went in to actually extend the seawall. We had Congressman Bandrew ask for that. What they responded to us is that we should ask again in the next funding cycle. They did not approve it at this time. I don't know this specifically from them, but they're doing another large seawall in another area. They're going to get that one done first before they consider ours. Yeah.
So I was one of the other neighbors that just called me before, and he said that there is FEMA money for the infrastructure grant
Yeah.
for that, and if we hired this guy Jim, he would be able to fill out the grant paperwork for it, maybe.
Yeah, Jim Rotella is our grant consultant. Yeah.
So he said that it's there, it's available. We just have to hire him and fill it out. Because right now it's really close. It's scary listening to the water hit. I mean, it's smashing. You saw the other pictures
Well,
as well.
yeah, so besides Lori, numerous neighbors and people in the neighborhood there on 15th Street and 14th Street. There's very, a huge amount of concern with the situation up there, that if it breaches there and then it gets through and, so there's been discussion, I don't know if I mentioned to you, but how the seawall used to be more or less a bulkhead.
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day, if we can't get the seawall extension now or the finger jetties or whatever you want to call, which we've been talking about for years, but nothing to no avail. what if we somehow were able to take on, say, a 300-foot, because that's the length of the seawall they were talking about extending, just a bulkhead put there, seawall.
Turn over to Jim.
That north end, even beyond our 1,500 feet, is part of the managed beach. So when we had discussions with the DEP, when John and I met with them, they were fine with us dumping the pilings if we could get the permits from the DEP. But as far as taking a project like a seawall extension, we could not do that without the permission and the input of the Army Corps. We can't
So
just go
not
ahead.
even a seawall, just a bulkhead, a wooden bulkhead. up
We,
to protect
other than something out in the water to help direct the sand, we can't do anything along the dune lines without the Army Corps' input because it is part of that managed beach that we have. And anything we do could potentially affect something in ways we're not sure of.
But I think too, one of the things that with the beach replenishment, it'll fill in. That's one of the places that's going to be replenished heavily. It will push that ocean back out. But you're right. This is something we've been working on.
Yeah.
This is something we've,
Again, like, we need some sort of solution.
yeah.
We could just even get like, the short bulkhead, just the bulkhead. We don't need to walk down it and have lights
Yeah.
and an expense for the township. It's just
Yeah.
a bulkhead.
So I think it's definitely, something we can look into. I personally would like to support doing a seawall down there. Dealing with the Army Corps, when you talk about the infrastructure money, that's one of the things that we had Congressman Van Drew advocate for us. They didn't tell us no, but they told us to ask again in the next cycle. We're going to stay on top of it. If there is anything that we can do in the meantime to try to make things better, that's definitely something we can look into. So Jim Rotella is our grant consultant from the city. So we can talk with him, but I think it is the same process that we've gone through to apply for that infrastructure money. They try to spread that money. It's federal money, and they try to spread it up and down the coast. Part of what we've gotten some of that money for is actually our beach replenishment, but we can go back and see again if we can try to get that funding.
I'm concerned one bad storm's gonna knock
No,
that
absolutely.
1 foot out. And my
Yeah.
wall there is only a cinder block.
Right.
So, and then dunes on the other side. So we get that one little spot come through, we're all flooded.
And that's where it came through on Sandy.
Yeah, I got pummeled there.
On Sandy, it breached, it came right around the seawall, breached those dunes and went into the house. It went into the side of the house and came out the
Yeah.
garage.
Pictures.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, that's why we've been so much on the Army Corps trying to do this.
I don't think July's too long.
Yeah, so originally when they wanted to do the beach replenishment, they wanted to come in sometime in like October, November. So we did have them move it up as close as we could. It is challenging dealing with the federal government, but we're doing everything we can to speed this along. And, I agree with you 100%. Like we need some type of seawall, we need something down there, and we can look into what we can do in the meantime.
And when we submit anything to Jim Rotella or whatever we're going to do, I think it'll be a good idea to kind of put a link into those videos, some of those videos to show why we're concerned and why
Sure.
we need to
The
get this done
photos,
as soon as possible. Yeah, besides the photos, but keep taking the good pictures also.
The Army Corps has been down there. They know the problem. They've been down there a ton of
Yeah.
times, so they know what the problem is. Just a matter of convincing everybody that this is what we need,
We need, yeah.
Getting our
I'm
hands.
not
on it.
Absolutely.
I'm not a big advocate to have the seawall extended because who wants to have all of the house? Like, give me a bulkhead.
Absolutely.
Protect, right, Daniel?
I think the benefit of the seawall, we used to have a bulkhead down there, and what ended up happening is that the water would actually just come over the top of the bulkhead, which is why we actually moved to the seawall. It's a little thicker and wider, and it was able to hold back the force of the ocean a little bit better. So obviously, I know there's people that you'd have concern with having the walkway and more people out there, but that's something we had looked at as the safety issue. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Michael Coates, live on 15th Street North. Got a call saying would I come and support Laurie. I've got a couple of issues. This look like I'm being fed cannon fodder because first of all, I can't hear very well since I blew my hearing out some time ago. So I can only partially hear what's going on. But it's clear to everybody that you need to replenish what the erosion that's occurred over the last 4 years. I run up that beach every morning, and you've lost at least 12 to 15 feet off the north end.
And that's with sand that has been reinforced by natural vegetation. So it's not just as if what you're going to do is take regular sand and dump it and make a sandcastle, basically, and hope that will stay there. It won't stay there. You know it, and I know it. So the proposal would be to put a barrier in front of the sand and put the sand behind the barrier. At least then you get some permanence. Apparently, there is a way to get a funding. If you make a proposal to FEMA, they will then review it and have a decent chance of approving that. Have you looked at that?
We have, and they've turned us down.
Sorry?
Yes, we have looked into that with FEMA. We've looked in it with the Army Corps about putting the jetties out there.
Yeah. Has somebody made a proposal to?
We have. I've actually sat down with the Army Corps on this issue. They were actually in Atlantic City, and I had the opportunity to sit down with them. Here's the irony. They agree that putting jetties out there would help extend the life of the beach replenishments. They don't want to do it. They would rather continue to do the beach fills as is, because in their cost analysis long term, they said it's better for them to continue to do the beach fills. We don't agree with that. We continue to push for those jetties, and that's what we're trying to do. Because you're right, you're 100% right. You need real structure. And the example we use, if you look on our front beaches from about Roosevelt all the way south, there's a series of jetties.
Yeah.
And over the last 30 years, it has filled in and made the beaches down there huge. On the north end, we had what's called the old wooden groins that are small. They hold some sand, but there's just not enough mass to them to really hold the sand in place. So that's something we continue to advocate for, because you need it. You need some type of structure to hold the sand.
And you need something to protect the housing.
Absolutely.
Once the metallized system fails or stops. So we would work with somebody. If you could appoint somebody, that we will try and help you get this through. I mean, give me a name, and I will work with any of the committee members to try and get something approval to try and get this thing, because we think our houses are at risk.
No, absolutely.
Not much protection any longer between the sea and where our houses are. And putting sand in there is basically like urinating against the wind.
Sure.
So, that's our concern. So if you give me a name, and I will afterwards, and I will gladly work with Brooks Garrison.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we'd have to talk to Jim, and it would have to come through the Army Corps and who to connect down there. I mean, what we do is we meet with them periodically to discuss things, but typically use Congressman Van Drew to advocate on behalf of the city of Brigantine. We talk with him about our priority lists, and he goes down there and tries to get that money and get those approvals for us. It's actually how we got the dredging and beach replenishment at the Cove Beach and St. George's Thoroughfare. When it became a major issue, he got involved, and with that infrastructure money was available, was able to get that done. Okay. So we aggressively keep going after this, but we can have the city manager kind of follow up and maybe point you in the right direction.
Okay. Second thing, not really attached to that, but the parking lot in front of the observatory. Brigantine does a wonderful job of dumping mulch at the top end on the left-hand side and dumping mulch on the right-hand side into mounds. They decided in the last month to move the left-hand side to the right-hand side to make the mounds bigger. And then last week, they decided to take that and then spread it over the parking lot on the left-hand side. So now you have all the mulch down the left-hand side of the parking lot, which actually isn't bad, because the parking lot's 100 feet wide and you really only need 60 foot wide. What is the intention of doing that?
I would have to turn it over to our superintendent of public works.
For years, we've put mulch down there for general public. For anybody to take, when contractors on the island were trimming trees, we would put the mulch there, and the public could take it for free. We got a couple complaints that there was getting an overabundance of it down there. So we are spreading it out down there. The clamshells that are there are going to be used in the parking lot. That's why they were dumped there. So we are trying to spread. I can't push, like you said, there was some on the right, there was some on the left. We were down there with the backhoe, pulling it out and putting it over on the left side as you go down.
Yeah, my concern is you're gradually pushing back the natural vegetation. You are losing environmental vegetation by the way that we handle it. The objective of the parking lot should be to minimize the parking lot to 64 feet. Right now, it's gone to 100 feet. So what I would ask is that somebody look at that and try and make sure that you don't exceed the 64 feet and protect the flora on both sides.
Yes.
So rather than dump stuff onto the floor and gradually increase the size of the parking lot.
I agree with you. As the mulch breaks down, the Phragmites grow right through it and it'll be.
Yeah, that's what I
right
said. So
green.
what
You're
I would like to
absolutely
do is if you could draw a line
Correct.
down there and protect what you've just done, I'm okay with that.
Correct. Okay.
The clamshells, I would rather see them put on the track to the beach, but that's a separate issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, where it's stopped being paved and down, that contractor's supposed to come back down and pave that.
That was 3 years ago.
That was longer than 3 years ago. We got an email. We just got an email that he's coming back down in the next 3 months to finish that project.
Okay, but I would actually put the shells all the way into the beach access so that you've
Yeah,
done
yes.
partially that, but you
Correct.
haven't finished that.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Henry Waldron, 314 20th Street. I'm here to talk about the windmill whale resolution. I apologize that I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. I think I might have been tarred and feathered if I said anything at that point. I am very pro windmill. And that over the last month has sometimes made me feel like I'm the most hated person in Brigantine. Mainly because I'm willing to state in a factual and respectful way my side or my opinion that the windmills are good. And that's primarily because I take a very long-term view. And if we don't get rid of carbon dioxide in a big way, I don't think Brigantine will be more than someplace, a sandbar that you can come visit by the time my grandchildren and great-grandchildren are anywhere near my age. I don't hate the anti-windmill people. They think I do because I confront them with facts. I have asked in the past to be able to help Brigantine because I'm always willing to hear a good story, and if it is fact and science-based, my mind is open and you might be able to win me over. Unfortunately, that has not happened. One of the problems that I see in trying to help Brigantine is I don't know if you're anticipating collateral incidents or collateral damage of what may occur based on what you are trying to do. I'll give you an example. Right now, you're trying to blame the wind, the offshore wind for whale deaths. I'm not a lawyer. We have one here who may be able to confirm this. If that ever tried to go to court in that fashion, it would reduce to the survey ships, a subcontractor, because there hasn't been any construction of windmills. There hasn't been any operation. There's no platforms, there's no wires or anything like that put in. If you tried to successfully argue that, you can either argue that you want to ban the survey ships, and that might be problematic because of all the things they do, or ban the technologies that they're using that you claim are hurting whales. One collateral damage, if you try to ban either, is that those same techniques are used by the Army Corps of Engineers. The same kind of surveys that you're trying to demonize will be used for beach replenishment. Maybe not on the beach, but everything off the beach and certainly in the borrow area. So then you've got a problem. And there are many of these kinds of problems. There are ways that you could make a better game for the arguments you want to make. But you've got to know what's going on. I looked right before, I was going to lecture you. I was a professor. I realized quickly that that would make you all fall asleep or write me off, and I don't want to do that. So I looked at what the comments were after you talked, or when you talked about the resolution and the comments at the end last week. There are so many things that I could answer quickly. I asked to be involved in the windmill committee. That fell apart. I never got emails or anything like that. I never got a visit, and I think that was because I am pro windmill. That doesn't mean I can't help. Without bragging, I know more about this stuff than all the people that I've seen online combined. There was a woman last meeting that said, research is hard. She said it takes 3 times as long. No, it takes way longer. If you know where to look, if you don't have the background, it takes 10 times longer. And if you're looking on DuckDuckGo or on Google, you never get to the databases which aren't on the internet that you need to get to. If you know what BOEM's site is all about, you can maneuver around it pretty well. If you don't, it's a quagmire. I mean, I like the enthusiasm of the anti-windmill groups. It's a great way to make friends. I've seen that kind of camaraderie. But it's got to be factual. And I'm more than willing to help. I threw away the idea of lecturing you. I want to start by offering this. I mean, there's so many of these. Vince, you've argued that there's no data. There is data. You just
Mr.
can't
Waldron,
find
your
it.
5 minutes are up.
Okay. So it's up to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, if there's no other public comment, we'll close the public portion. Any final council comments?
Mayor, yeah, I'd just like to second Neil's comments and yours as you discussed. I know Neil and Karen were down the roundhouse. I actually saw Tom the other day. For a long time, we've needed some improvements down the baseball field, and right at the top of that list is John would know, and all of us up here, that roundhouse. Hopefully, we can get some funding set aside for that as soon as possible, and take care and do something in a positive manner with that. And this, the only other thing I want to add is this is like regional Eagles territory for the Super Bowl. So I'm a former season ticket holder myself, born and raised Philly boy, and I think they really look good for the game. We'll see, though. I mean, they're going up against a tough bunch in Kansas City. And just one shout out to I'm a Temple grad. A shout out to Hassan Reddick, who played a huge part in the game, second in the league in sacks this year. So hopefully the whole team contributes, not just Hassan. We got a healthy Jalen Hurts. If they win it, I'm gonna have my Nick Foles jersey on next time around, Super Bowl MVP. So if and when, let me put it that way. Thank you.
No, thank you. If there's no other council comments, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Motion, meeting adjourned. I'd like to thank everybody for attending our February 1st council meeting and watching your council team at work. All right. Go get some stuff.